Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sedona Psychics. And today I have Nimue. Say hi. Nimue is here today. We are going to do some galactic channeling, which I've been wanting to do this episode for a while, because I know we can get some really, really cool information out of this. So, starting off, we're going to kind of go in and we'll explain what galactic channeling is and all of that. We'll start off with some personal questions from myself, and then we'll go into questions for the collective. So, Memway, for our listeners today, can you explain what galactic channeling is?
Yeah. So for me, and I will only speak for myself in this whole interview, it's going into a receptive place, very similar to mediumship. It's just a different channel. So
Mhm.
think like a radio station. It's going kind of like from AM to FM. For me, it's working with different higher intelligences that some people would call ETs. I've been referring to them as higher dimensional instead of extraterrestrial. It just makes more sense to me. And it's a journey. There's a lot of different sort of I guess you would call them like species or families or groups that I
Right.
work with.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. And who do you typically connect with when you channel?
actually depends on who is asking questions. I do have my own personal guides. One, her name is Anandaya. I call her D. She claims to be Esasani, which if you guys are familiar with Bashar, she always like reminds me I'm not the same as him, but it's a similar frequency as to
Gotcha.
yes. And then I also have a guide. He's lovely named Micaiah. When I asked him where he was from, he said the Orion Council, and that's pretty much all the information I've got around that. He looks like a monk to me whenever I lean into him. And then I also work a lot with the Lyrans, which I lovingly refer to as the space kitties, although they are beyond just that as well.
I love the Lyrons. I love them. I have like a personal connection with them as well.
They're wonderful.
So before you channel, how do you prepare your energy beforehand? And I guess, like, does it really depend on who you're connecting with how you prepare yourself for that?
It can. I kind of make just like a daily practice of spiritual hygiene. I wake up, I do my little ritual at the altar in the morning and the nighttime. Like not every second of every day. That sounds a little melodramatic, but I'm constantly trying to just be in my body, be present, practice mindfulness. And it kind of really depends on who I'm working with because my frequency will shift a little bit based on
Right.
that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And what should listeners understand about the intention or the vibration of these guides or beings that you connect with?
Again, it will sort of depend on the being that we're connecting with, but they are, I guess, for lack of a better term, high frequency.
Yeah.
To the point where I usually do kind of ask what I have to do to prepare myself. I'm usually doing it during the channeling, but I really have to root into my body and like pay attention to my breath. When they're in a room with me and another client, do prior to doing a session, always remind people, hey, these guys can come on a little intense. They're very to the point. There's very little coddling. There's a lot of compassion, but it's kind of like fierce,
Yeah.
like unyielding compassion. And again, depending on who I'm working with.
Okay. But I love that though. It's almost like they're no bullshit.
No,
They're no bullshit. They're just
no,
gonna give you what you need in that moment.
correct.
I love that. So if you need a minute, you can go ahead and get yourself into the energy of channeling.
Good.
Already connected, baby. Already
Mhm.
connected. All right. So with who you are connected with right now, with the energy, who are you connected with right now?
Believe it or not, I feel the cetaceans pretty strongly at the
Okay.
moment. And I'm just going to offer that throughout this interview, there might be different groups that come in to say different things, but
I love
primarily
that.
for the cetaceans, for those who don't know, deeply connected with dolphin, whale, porpoise, like that kind of. I'm just going to use the word vibration, probably an obnoxious amount during this
Okay.
interview.
All right. So guys, if you get annoyed by the word vibration, too bad. Because this is what we do all the time anyways. All right, starting off with some personal questions for myself.
Mhm.
Uh, do you have a message for me personally as someone who works with spirit and intuitive guidance?
Something about you working with kids more.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's mentoring. I don't know if that's helping assist younger people in their own awakening, but that came through extremely strongly from them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. I like that. What role do you see me playing in helping others awaken spiritually?
Oh, it's funny because they're talking about how it's like a two-way street with you. So you're helping people. Second, I'm going to do a lot of this too. One big part is helping people realize they're not alone in their spiritual journey. They're not crazy, and something about their bodies too. So if you're tapping into people's bodies and the way that they are responding to all the things that are shifting in our reality, you're here to really hold space. Humor is big for you, helping
Yes.
people have a sense of humor around how you invite people into a space and into the spiritual space. But they also want to talk about how, like, the healing you're doing for other people, you are directly healing yourself. So there is a lot of mirroring happening in your readings for the
Okay.
better, not for the worse.
That's awesome. I mean, if anything, that right there was just some confirmation for me. So, and it's funny too. I just did a reading earlier today, and I
Mhm.
literally said, "Tell her she's not crazy."
Yep.
I love that. I love that. And my last question for myself is there anything that I should focus on developing further into my spiritual practice?
And we're breathing. And specifically, what they're showing me, you need to be in your own space, being outside, being on your porch, being outside, they're talking about, and just like listening to what is happening outside, listening to the spirits that are out there, and understanding how alive everything is around you.
Okay.
So it's not even just like human earth. It's like, no, I am literally a part of my environment. My environment is a part of me. There's something about a tree outside. I'm not sure what tree this is, but they're like, you need to sit closer to this tree. And they're also talking about that hummingbird that has made a nest out of the center.
Hey, that little hummy's my friend. As soon as I saw her nest, I was like, "Oh, hey, mama." It's funny though, because she kind of looks down at me like, "What do you want, bitch? What do you want? I'm fine."
Hummingbirds are fierce, dude.
I love hummingbirds. So now we're gonna kind of go more into the questions for the collective. This one's gonna be fun because we're gonna hit quite a few different topics. So I'm pretty excited for the information that they would like to share. So first, we're gonna kind of go into like humanity's spiritual awakening, which we both know that's happening regardless people are ready for it or not.
Yeah.
Many people feel humanity is going through a spiritual awakening right now. What is happening on Earth from their perspective?
They're showing like a combination of like an egg cracking and a flower blooming like at the same time. So it feels as though something is just like waking up, something is coming out in a different format. So going from the embryonic into something more substantial.
Okay.
They're saying substantial isn't the right word because they're saying that puts like a quality on it. Let me sit with them. It's more, it's just that we are able now, because we're saying tether. What are we tethered to? Part of what's happening is we're learning how to be tethered to 3D while accessing more of, I'm going to use quantum reality for lack of a better terms. I don't know what else to call it at this
Okay.
exact point. It's not quite unity consciousness. That's like a step this way. But yeah, think blooming, think hatching, while still retaining an anchor point in 3D reality. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. So would you say that humans are evolving into a higher level of consciousness at this point?
They're saying we've always been there. So just for the listeners, the way that they talk is very pedantic. So pardon if I kind of like re-script a little bit, but we've always been able to do this. It's more like there's a bridge between dimensions that's being made available to us. It's almost like the opposite of, if you guys are familiar with the Arthurian myth or even Lord of the Rings, there is a story beat in which like an elven or magical land or race disappears and like pulls back through the veil. So we can no longer access them as human beings. The opposite is happening. So Avalon, the elves from Lord of the Rings, like we are suddenly able to kind of like reach across the veil and realize, oh, they're there too. They've always been there.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
so it's kind of yes, but they're like they don't see in linear time like we do. But yeah, and they're saying if it is an evolution, it's a forced evolution.
Yeah, I can feel that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, why are so many people becoming more interested in spirituality and intuition?
They have no choice. Well, it's fun because they say some people are going distinctly the opposite route very stubbornly because it makes them feel safe. People are leaning into whatever makes sense for them right now. They're saying there is so much confusion, although the first wave of confusion really hit around in between 2016 and 2020 to 2022. And that is kind of leveling out. That might change. They're showing this year being a little weird. Just like a lot of sections of reality are going to be splitting even more than they already have.
Yeah, why are they becoming more interested in spirituality
Because they're
and
remembering.
intuition?
They're
Yeah.
remembering.
Mhm.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay. What role do empaths, psychics, and energy workers play during this time?
babysitters.
Or
There was,
therapist.
yeah, there was not my, and a lot of therapists too are going to be incorporating a lot of what do. You're already seeing some of that.
Right.
A lot of the, is this me or is this you guys telling me this? Because I can project a little bit into this particular topic. So let me set them for, no, it's them too. A lot of what we're understanding about neuroscience, psychology, neuropsychology, there is so much crossing over that's starting to happen. That's another reason that people are kind of leaning a little bit into the more mystical, magical, metaphysical, because there's a ton of research that's just waiting to be researched.
Right.
Just
Right.
things that my Syrian guides have always talked about, the complete and utter unification of science and spirit. They do not see science and spirit as different things. They're exactly, everything is made of spirit, whether you want to call it logical, rational, or irrational. So we are just starting to see that a lot of the lines we've drawn in the sand about what is and isn't, those lines are made up. They're fabricated. They're not real.
Right. Lies, guys. They're all lies. They're all lies. So now we're going to kind of get into some like spiritual growth with humanity as well. So many people, they feel like they're quote unquote waking up spiritually, but don't know necessarily where to begin. What advice and guidance would you give them?
It's funny because they're like, you need to start with now, the present moment. You need to start with where your consciousness is right now. And essentially think about reality like a giant algorithm. What is your algorithm? Like, what attention are you giving to what algorithm? That is step one. Because a lot of people just want to jump into like the, blowing up, open their crown chakra,
Right.
kundalini,
Yeah.
and they want to exit 3D. That seems to be a lot of people's, like, they want to jump cut out of 3D existence. You cannot. That is not what we came here to do.
Right.
And 3D existence, they keep reminding me ad nauseum, is just as sacred as all the other dimensions. If not, I wouldn't, they don't want to say more, but there is a preciousness to this realm because of what spirit endures when we're here. Right. Because this is one of the only places that we go through pain, we go through suffering. So the fact that we come in and we come out is like, there's a lot of respect and there's a lot of dignity associated with that process.
Okay. All right. How can people strengthen their intuition and connection with higher guidance?
Off your screens. That sounds like the Syrians to me. They really don't like what the tech is doing to our brains. What else? Is anything else? Be near water. I know that's not possible for everybody, but if you have, access to, even if it's a stream, the ocean, a lake, whatever, being outside more, but like they're saying, distinctly without your screen in front of your face, like it has to do with presence. Everything has to do with presence.
Okay.
And listening to the body and listening to what's going on around you, pattern recognition. If you can start developing more pattern recognition, with synchronicity, your intuition will inevitably start to, I guess, light up.
Okay. And we thought pattern recognition was from trauma.
Trauma is an activator. Trauma is an activator. It's a switch that can turn on certain parts of consciousness that will not get activated otherwise.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. I feel like we kind of hit this a little bit, but what practices help humans stay balanced while the world feels chaotic, especially right now in the times we're in?
It really depends on the person. Flow state is one thing coming through, finding a flow state. So if you guys are unfamiliar with flow state, think about a dancer who's they're so in sync with their body and the music and the environment. When you go to a concert and you can tell that there's something more than just like, paying attention to what you're playing on the guitar. There's a flow, there's a resonance to it that's like effortless. Whatever you can do to kind of access that in your own life. For some people, for me, it's driving, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Driving, moving my body, music, singing puts me into a flow state. Doing this puts me into a flow state too. It's why I like to do it so often. But there are 1,000,001 ways to access this idea. And what was the question? So sorry.
You're good. You're good.
This is developing our gifts.
What practices help humans stay more balanced? Everything else feels chaotic.
Put your phones down. And no shade to anybody who's, we're all chronically on our phones.
Yeah.
But right now, and I can only speak for this country without getting too political, there is from all sides, let's just say it's because they're saying omni, this is from all sides, concerted efforts to gather our attention, because our attention is energy, it's food. Think about your attention is food.
Right.
Who are you feeding yourself to? So if you can have the consciousness and the intentions and presence of mind, again, like on a meta level, what is your algorithm showing you? But the attention that is being literally like sucked in, they're calling it a vortex, interestingly enough. You have to be very mindful of what you are coding yourself with. coding, like not coding, but coding for
Hmm.
the computer software program.
What is the most important thing people should focus on for their spiritual growth right now?
But I keep hearing harmony. Just keep hearing harmony,
Yeah.
harmony. We're coming back to that flow state idea.
Mm.
So that's kind of tied into this, I think. Being with people that you feel harmonious with is one big thing. And I know that is not always something we have control over in the moment.
Right.
And this is something that a lot of people are really struggling with. And I'm speaking all through myself as Nimue, but also through them. Like a lot of people are coming right now to us as healers because their relationships are falling apart.
Right.
Because they are no longer in resonance. And it's not even like somebody is good or bad. It's just like their realities do not line up. They don't synchronize. So think about how A minor to E minor sounds really, really good if you're a musician, but if you like jump a chord or you like hit the wrong note, it's like, ugh, like I don't want to listen to that. It makes you
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable. We all carry a frequency, and some of our frequencies harmonize and some of them don't. That is not a value judgment. It's not good or bad. It just is. So yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like people sometimes overthink that too. They were like, so for instance, in a relationship, and then all of a sudden, like the vibe is just not there anymore. And then instead of seeing it for what it is, they go, well, what did I do wrong? Or what did they do wrong? And how can I make this better? Sometimes, guys, it's just not meant to be. And maybe you guys were just supposed to be together for a short amount of time.
Yeah,
You
people
know?
have a hard time with that. People are terrified of loneliness, I think maybe more than anything in the entire world right now.
Right, right.
So that's something to be very mindful of through your own awakening as well, because loneliness can lead you to latch on to ideas and things. And they're talking about cults specifically, and not
Hmm.
many right now, but they're talking about group think. So if you're too afraid to think for yourself, you will inevitably get swept by the tide of group think. You got to be very careful again of who you are giving your time and energy to.
Right. Gotcha.
Give it to yourself. Give it to yourself is what I'm hearing.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you gotta worry about yourself too, really. So now we're gonna kind of go into some like galactic connection. Are humans connected to other star systems or galactic lineages?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You're literally like, look, of course. Like they're giving me like that. Yes. Yes. And there are more. This is news to me too. They're saying there's human colonies all over the place. We're not the only humans either.
Yeah, I kind of had a thought
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different star systems, they're saying. It's not necessarily, I think we might be the only, there's some stuff going on Mars apparently. I think there are stations and outposts like throughout the solar system, but I think we are the only big human collective in this solar system.
Okay. All right. But guys, we're not alone. We're not. Never have been. What does the term starseed really mean? And I think a lot of people are gonna like really be interested in this question.
And a lot of people aren't going to like my answer. So the concept around being a star seed means that you have a spiritual lineage that is directly connected to some of these higher dimensional groups, like the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Sirians. You'll hear a number of different star groups. That is a true thing. I work with clients that have, their higher consciousness lives on a ship above Earth. Like the way that they come forward and tell me these things, the way the synchronicities line up, even in the readings, like I know they're telling the truth. I have seen implants in people. I've been abducted many times myself. Like I know all that shit is real, and that we do have, some of us have a very, very deep connection to some of these beings. The folks that aren't going to like this answer are the ones that think that being a starseed makes you better than everybody else.
That's called ego.
And it's also dangerously adjacent to some very dangerous types of thinking where you consider yourself superior over other human beings.
Mhm.
And they have been very, very deliberate, especially the alignments do not play around with this. They're like, it doesn't matter what your lineage is. It does not, you don't get a special crown, you don't get a special badge, and you actually don't even get special privileges,
Mhm.
period. You are a human being on this planet. The fact that you have a deeper connection to this ancestor, we don't kind of do that. There's a lot of BS around like, oh, there's 144,000 of us and we're so special. That is objectively not true. I'm sorry to burst anybody's bubble. Like that is not it. However, some of us do have more ongoing relationships with them in this incarnation. But again, you don't get a badge. You do not get a crown. So I need to, they taught me that. I've gotten asked questions about like, oh my God, am I a liar in Starseed? Am I a liar? Am I not? And they'll be like, you're a human. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Be with your other humans. That's why you came here.
Yeah. And I love that though, because I mean, yes, if you do have the connection, right, then this means that this is probably something you can possibly work with,
Of course,
during your spiritual journey, right?
Mhm.
So, which kind of comes to my next question here. Can somebody who is in the correct mind frame for this, how can someone recognize if they have a connection to galactic consciousness?
I think it starts with a curiosity about it.
Okay.
Although I don't know, I wasn't looking for them when they found me. To be perfectly honest, 6 years ago, before they showed up in my consciousness, I used to think, and please forgive me, because I know how arrogant this sounds now, that people who channeled the Pleiadians, I thought they were fucking crazy because and some of them, to this day, I do feel like maybe had an agenda or there was just something off-putting about it to me. For as woo-woo as I am, I used to not, and I was in the middle of doing a regular tarot card live stream on Facebook when this came online for me. So you might have some weird shit go on where you have like a dream or a synchronicity or something just kind of really makes itself known to you.
Hmm.
And I imagine if they come on that way, you're already in the mindset to get curious about it and not
Right.
to think you're going crazy. They don't want to overwhelm us. Like that is, I have been slightly overwhelmed by their energy, but that was my fault because I wasn't practicing spiritual hygiene when I was working with them in the beginning. You have to be mindful of working with this energy. Their frequency is insanely high.
Yes.
The first couple of times I channeled with them, my hands would shake, my teeth would chatter. I would be talking faster than I am now. But yeah, I think a curiosity, asking questions, meditation, and my understanding is quantum hypnotherapy, like past life regression.
Okay.
Really cool way to get into your subconscious and see if there's any lineage there too.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Love it. Are there many different, because I mean, I feel like there have been some, and I think they've been assisting this planet for a very, very, very long time. Are there many different galactic groups assisting Earth right now? And if the info is there, are there any specific ones they would like to state?
Us. We're showing at least a dozen. Cool, it right side my head just started tingling. Can you talk about any of the beings that are helping us? They're like, it's complicated. It's a bit of a mishmash and a mess because there are different dimensional beings with different agendas. And I think that would take an entire other podcast if we were to get too deeply into them.
Okay, so maybe to kind of be a little bit more specific and direct. Which ones are helping humanity and the planet and not necessarily having more of a negative intention when coming to the planet?
This is we don't really see positive and negative, which is really obnoxious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I figured I would get that.
I know they are mentioning the Pleiadians a lot. I think the Pleiadians have a very special place in their hearts for us. I'm not sure exactly why. Arcturians are a pretty big feature around here too, as well. I mean, if you kind of look into the galactic, species of like the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, it's a mishmash of them. It's very political, apparently. It's very big. Yeah, I think there's one that it's not the Zetas, but there's something they're giving me with a Z. And it feels like it would be connected to Zoroastrianism, which I know nothing about. So please forgive me because I know how ignorant that sounds, but there's something there. And so I don't know if that's Anunnaki. I could be making that up entirely. I know that's connected to Sumerianism, but I don't know how close Zoroastrianism, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. So again, audience, please forgive me. But yeah, that's what they're going to give me right now.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go into Sedona and the Earth energy all together, because obviously Sedona is known for its energy vortexes and the spiritual energy here and all of that too. So again, Sedona is known for its vortex energy. From your perspective, what is happening energetically in a place like Sedona?
Something with gravity, even that they're talking about. Because I know I know nothing about how gravity works in like theoretical physics or quantum physics, but please keep saying gravity well. There's something about pulling energy, but expelling energy too. Tell me more. It's not like breathing. It felt like breathing, but it's not like breathing. What is happening with the vortexes? A lot of it is they're stargates.
Yeah.
I don't know why that just made me so fucking emotional, but yeah. They're stargates. And they've always been here too, it feels like. Like it feels like the Earth's it's almost like how we have friends, like Earth has friends in other dimensions as well. And I feel like this is her way of like opening up the Wi-Fi, so to speak, to connect with other dimensions and frequencies.
Okay. All right. Are there certain places on Earth that hold stronger energetic frequencies or portals?
Yes, yes. And it's not just Sedona, we're talking about Antarctica, which I'm not going to get into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know that the conspiracy stuff around there, but there's a big one down there, apparently. They're all over. They're kind of interspersed, and people kind of know some of them already. Like there are quite a number of them in Central America, it feels like to me. England used to have more. So I'm not sure if like the ley line shifted or if like the energy shifted, but it feels like there used to be, I know there still is a lot of activity around the UK, especially with orb sightings, but I guess it used to be way more than that. And even further north, they're saying in Norway, but they're kind of showing me that the Earth's energy moves and changes and shifts. So sometimes those places shift with them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And let's see. Have ancient civilizations been aware of these energetic locations and worked with them intentionally?
Many times.
I feel like Egypt and things like that too.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's like parallel dimensions that are even existing right now, like within our dimension that are still working with them. But yeah, the whole idea around Atlantis is all connected into that. But it almost feels like we get collective amnesia after a certain amount of time. And I don't know who does that. Again, I don't ever want to get too conspiratorial whenever I'm talking to these guys, just for my own mental health. But yeah, yes, and also it feels like we are made to forget after a certain amount of time.
Right. I hate forgetting because that means we have to remember again.
Yeah, when I first started working with them, they called this, like, if you were to think of this as a simulation or video game, the great unknowing. It's like you're coming here to forget, and that's the whole game, is remembering.
Gotcha. How can people respectfully work with the energy of sacred places like Sedona?
Don't just try to take.
I can agree on that, guys.
Yeah, what do you offer? What are you bringing? Curiosity is also fine. They want to emphasize that. Like, if you're just curious and you want to know more, like, that is they think curiosity is a beautiful thing. They see curiosity as an act of love because it's consciousness asking to know more and build on more consciousness. But don't just, come to try to take pictures of orbs or, like, and definitely, pick up the trash.
Yeah.
Please
be mindful, guys.
Please, guys. These are living spaces.
Be mindful, for real. So now I'm gonna kind of have some like wild card questions. They might be really random. But we like random, don't we? So do humans have abilities that we have not fully awakened yet?
They don't tell me what they are. It's like yes and no, because there are, groups of people on the planet who have known about this stuff for a very long time, but they're being a little withdrawn about that at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll respect that. We'll respect that. I don't think people are ready to hear it yet.
It's just, I don't know why I feel like a weird fairy there when I ask that question.
Okay. Why do so many people feel drawn to the stars or feel like Earth is not their true home?
Because your DNA remembers other lifetimes. DNA itself is like alive and coded with memory after memory after memory. And they're showing like fractals. It's like recursive. So, and also they're calling Earth the sandbox.
That's not the first time I've heard that from them.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but I think there is also like an inherent intuitive knowing that we aren't alone and we feel very isolated because they're saying suppressed to play whatever it is we're playing out here.
We're playing the game in the sandbox, pretty much. Are dreams a way humans connect with other realms or civilizations?
Most certainly.
I've gone to some pretty cool places in my dreams as well, and I fully know I'm like, this is totally real. It's real. Because not only that, I think there's times where I've gone to some of these other places and I've actually almost brought that energy back with me. And it was really cool because it was almost like I integrated something from that. So, this is also why we tell you guys to pay attention to your dreams, because really this is like another way for you to figure things out or find the answers that you're looking forward to as well. I also go to other places and heal too, which is really cool. Do animals have a different level of awareness or connection to universal consciousness?
Yes and no. They're saying there's no barrier to entry with animals. So I'm wondering if that just means there's less of an amnesia around like, them being connected to the spirit realm. But that's what I'm hearing about that.
Okay. All right.
No barrier to entry.
Is music or vibration an important part of cosmic communication?
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a language, they're saying, to help understand certain frequencies and certain ideas of consciousness you wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Right. Okay.
Also, sound actually brings consciousness into more form. They're calling it like it's very, my sacral's getting activated. It's a very sensual act. They're saying it's an act of like literal sensual creation. And they're calling it a romance. It's like the way you can have a romantic relationship with certain kinds of reality.
Romanticize your life. Yeah.
Make music.
Yes. Yes. What surprises them the most about humanity?
Funny. There's a lot against us, you know what I mean? But they're like, your sense of humor is beautiful.
This is how I get through life, guys. So, hey.
And they're saying it is kind of a human thing. Like not every star being or whatever. They're saying it's the mammal in us. There's something about mammalian energy that has a little bit more of that humor. But yeah, it seems to find that fascinating.
Okay. That's just how we cope, guys.
Bonding. They're saying it helps us bond. It keeps us alive.
Yes.
That's how important it is.
Yes. Not to take things so seriously all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have a little fun. What is something humanity misunderstands about the universe?
That it's all right here. There's nowhere to really go. Ultimately, if you're looking for what most people are looking for, the fulfillment, the safety, the love, the knowing everything's gonna be okay. It's not, they're like, you could go anywhere you want and always have that feeling. Everything is contained right here. Solitary. It's solitary. Everything is like one note.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Okay. And I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, but what role does joy or laughter play in the energy of the planet?
It keeps us sane. Keeps you sane. It's also a clearing. I know a lot of people talk about how do I clear, how do I get rid of this attachment or whatever, and they're saying laughter will shake stuff off of you better than any bundle of herbs ever would. True laughter, they're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like that deep belly laugh.
Oh yeah.
And like you're crying, you're laughing so hard. Yeah. Yeah. If humanity could learn one universal truth right now, what would it be?
Let me sit with them a little bit longer. I don't know if they're taking a while to load this up for me.
Okay.
I'm not getting an immediate answer. There is not one universal truth.
Okay.
I think I'm going to leave it there.
All right. We can do that.
Yeah.
What message would you most like humanity to hear at this time?
The bit about the humor feels like a pretty big point of focus. I'm hearing without laughter, you are lost.
That can make sense.
Yeah. And, from their perspective, no one is ever truly lost because energy remains, it's eternal. But like the whole story that we are scripting here, the game that we're playing, if we do not hold on to hope and laughter and all that good shit, like we are truly going to be sucked down the drain.
So again, guys, enjoy life. Don't take things so seriously.
Don't take things so personally.
Yeah, that too personally.
Yep.
What is humanity capable of becoming in the future? Interesting. Interesting. I'm so excited for them to actually like physically present themselves.
E3.
I am so excited for that. I feel like some people are open to it, but I think if it actually happened, I almost feel like they would lose themselves in it in a way, if that makes sense. But I feel like it's like literally coming like right around the corner. I don't know if it's going to be, when Bashar said was in like 2027 and when a lot of things were going to start physically appearing. I mean, but already though, there's so many people seeing ships and other things
every
as well.
day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
I see them out here constantly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so excited for that. What is the greatest truth humans have forgotten about themselves?
That we chose this.
See, guys, it's our fault though.
Do this to yourselves. No, but we chose to do this. This was consensual.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people are going to get triggered hearing that because I don't want that to, this is me, Nimue talking. I don't want that to invalidate anybody's trauma and difficult lived experience, but that is what we are into.
Okay. And my last question, and then after this, if they have anything else to say, we can let them speak. What is the most important thing you would like humanity to remember about who they truly are? What was the greatest truth humans have forgotten about themselves?
Spirit. They're like, duh.
Yeah, guys, we're spirit. Okay. Okay. And honestly, we're all connected, literally, whether even to the, I want to say, less vibrational beings too, or humans as well too. So before we wrap up, is there anything else that they would like to say, either to the collective or me or anything in general?
They're talking about fear is addictive. So if y'all are trying to figure out how to ground, be more spiritual, be more open without getting so overwhelmed, whether it's by what's going on in the world right now or personal things. Hold on. I just completely lost my train of thought. Can you please remind me what I was just saying?
Crap, I almost forgot my train of thought too. Wow, guys. Oh yeah, fear.
So fear is addictive. Love this for us. Fear is addictive. And if you need help kind of accessing higher levels of consciousness without that sort of getting in the way, think about it like any other behavior that you're trying to be a little bit more mindful around, specifically through the lens of compassion. You must have compassion for fear. Some people want to conquer it. Some people the idea of conquering to them is madness. Like they're using the term madness. So people are saying conquer your ego, conquer your demons. So like that is literally absurd because you are feeding that exact same energy into itself. They're showing the snake eating its tail. So be mindful. Fear is exciting. They want you to hold yourselves accountable for being excited by fear. It's enervating. It gives you purpose. It gives you energy, believe it or not. It's not sustainable in the long term, but they really want us to be more accountable for the fear that we are feeding into, because it will create realities that will feed us more of it. We are creating a reality every millisecond of every day. And so this is the accountability piece that the Galactics often come in with. As far as, and I'm not going to name names, but as far as, certain figureheads that are seen to be emblematic of certain negative archetypes, right? Like to almost, this is me, Nimue, talking a cartoonish degree, right? Like we're just seeing through the veil after that. They are meant to be here.
Yes.
They are meant to be here, and we are meant to decide what we want to do about that.
Right.
Understand? So it's not like, oh my God, we've been invaded, we've been taken over. Absolute. They're like literally going like this. Like that's not. If any of you guys want to know what I mean by this, go watch the show Loki, the first season. I think it's either the first or second episode, but my jaw was in my lap when Loki. I try not to spoil too much, but he's basically doing a life review. If you've heard about people who cross over, there's often this life review of seeing everything that you've ever done in your life like a movie. So he's watching his life like a movie, and he's watching how he did all these horrible, like in some cases committed atrocities. And I'm going to call him his spirit guide, Mobius, is like, yeah, you were put into this reality so that others might rise. It was intentional. Like you were meant to be this Black Mirror. You were meant to be this force of evil so that others could ascend. And so I want you guys to like, I literally had to rewatch it like 3 times because I was like, this is it. They're literally explaining what's going on everywhere right now. Yeah. And that's it.
Okay. Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Nimue, for sharing your guide, the Galactics, with us today. We really appreciate it. So guys, also if you want to have a galactic channeling session with Nimue, she is available here at Crystal Magic Psychic Center. You can book with her on the website. And then in your booking, you can just say, hey, I want to do some galactic channeling. And just remember, they're blunt and they're no bullshit. Okay. So if you don't want to hear the truth, then don't do it. Which I love that about galactic channeling and getting in touch with spirit guides too, because I've also, got in touch with spirit guides that are just like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no reason to overthink it. See it for what it is and do something or not.
Correct.
Pretty much, So Nimue, thank you again.
Thank you so much
for being here. And remember, guys, really just trust yourselves, use your discernment, and literally just take life day by day at this point, because especially again where we're at right now in the planet with all the change, and I don't want to necessarily call it chaos because I feel like this is all supposed to be happening right now. So if anything, go with the flow, guys. Like go with the flow, and again, trust yourselves and use discernment. Okay. But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Yeah.